Good morning, everyone. Thank you for logging into this month's webinar session brought to you by the Belize Hotel Association in collaboration with Belizeing.com. Similar to our last session, this webinar is extended to all tourism stakeholders of Belize by the BHA Board of Directors. My name is Angela from Belizeing.com, and I'll be your host along with Alicia from the Belize Hotel Association. Today, our presenter is Ms. Kristen Simmons. She will be discussing the art of social media storytelling and using easy SEO tools that you can use to create content that's right for SEO. If you have any questions throughout this webinar, please feel free to use the chat box on the right corner of your screen. Your questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. Now, before we get into the presentation, I'd like to pass it on to Alicia for some BHA membership announcements.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Angela and Kristen. I want to thank everyone for registering for this morning's webinar. Just to share with you, for the non-members of the Belize Hotel Association, one of our benefits is offering these monthly webinars to our members. These 2 months, we have opened the webinars to entire stakeholders so you can get a glimpse of what the Belize Hotel Association does for a membership. If you would like more information about joining Belize Hotel Association, you can click the offer that's located on the right-hand side of your screen, or also give us an email to membership@belizehotels.org to view our list of benefits and visit our website at belizehotels.org. I would like to now welcome Ms. Kristen once again for this morning presentation, and we look forward to it. Kristen, welcome.
Thank you so much, Alicia and Angela. It is an honor and a privilege to be with you all today. I'm imagining what it's like to be in Belize. It is a healthy 35 degrees Fahrenheit here in my home up in Maine in the US. So I'm thinking of you all right now, and I want to jump into helping you with SEO success. SEO is something that you will hear about a lot of times in technical worlds, and I want to break it down for you today. And I've geared this talk this morning towards two audiences. Number one, it's going to be the business owners and managers who are out there that may not be directly involved with developing the website or with the day-to-day operations of social media and content development. I want you to have all of the tools you need to have an informed conversation with your teams so that you know what you're looking for in terms of really good SEO for your business website. And the second group that we've geared this towards is towards those marketing professionals that are out there. I want to give you the tips and tools today, if you already know what SEO is all about, that you can go back and do an audit of the sites that you work on so that you can make sure that you are taking care of that low-hanging fruit and really maximizing your SEO success. So people ask me all the time, Kristen, what is SEO? And it's something, again, as I mentioned, we throw the term around a lot in the digital tech world. And really all it is, it stands for search engine optimization. And when I say those words to you, you might be like, what does that possibly mean? But really, it's a fancy way of making your website get organic and unpaid traffic from the search engine's results page. A lot of us are doing a lot in terms of advertisement to make sure that we're boosted in that search engine rank. But this SEO really focuses again on the organic and unpaid ways that we can get found in search results and be at that top of the page. Good SEO strategy turns you from being this hot mess of a person on the left, and I guarantee a lot of businesses that I work with have for years done this spray and pray method of posting content, posting pages, not really focusing on SEO. Having a good strategy takes you from a jumbled mess of a website to here, look at Miss Universe. We all, maybe you don't want to be Miss Universe per se, but look at the confidence that she has right now, right? You have a clear message, you're keyword focused, and you are filled with confidence that what you have to deliver on your website is reaching the audience that you want to reach. So people ask me all the time, Kristen, how do I do SEO for my business? It feels really technical. It feels like something I can't touch. And that is not true. You can make a difference right now. These three techniques are things that I'm hoping that after you get off this webinar later today and even later this week, that you implement immediately. They're not something that you need a long-term plan for. This is something that everybody, whether you're in that marketing group or you're in that sort of management and more customer facing role, that you can do right now to up the ante in terms of your website's performance. So the first tip, this is something that I see in businesses across the board. Label your photos properly before you upload them to your site. A lot of our companies in tourism and hospitality spend big bucks to have gorgeous photos taken. And the shame about it is that 90% of the businesses that I work with put those photos up directly on their website or on their social sites without labeling them properly. And I can guarantee you right now, all those people in North America who are searching for their winter trips to Belize are not searching with DSC_1001 JPEG. When you label your photos properly before you upload them, you have the opportunity to capture them in search results. People are stimulated by beautiful photography, and you want to make sure that that photography shows up in search rank. So I want to give you an example right now. On the left-hand side is how the majority of people, and I'm not trying to shame you, I want you to guys know this right off the bat. Most of us have made this mistake, and it's a mistake that's easily fixed. Most of us have uploaded photos to our website with that file name that comes directly either from our camera or from our computer without labeling properly. And when we don't put that proper name in, we lose the opportunity for our photos and our content to show up in search engine results. So again, looking at the nobody is looking for this beautiful iguana picture with the search terms DSC_, but they will look at it with iguana, jungle, wildlife, Belize. Notice how I've kept it very short and sweet. You really want to keep your tags under your photos to under 125 characters. You don't want to be throwing up search terms in that title. Keep it to under 125 characters. And I want to show you what happens when you label your photos properly. Guess who gets found? The people who label properly. And I'm going to give a special shout out. I don't know if there's anybody online right now, either from the Belize Zoo or from the San Ignacio Resort up in Cayo. They do a great job with labeling their photos properly so that they get found in search engine results. So I've typed in the words in this Google search in jungle, iguana, and Belize, and look who pops up here. And as soon as I click on one of those photos, it will take me directly to the site. So again, your photos are a portal to your website. When you label them properly, you have the opportunity to capture an audience that you would not otherwise if you just left that label as that DSC kind of label. Now, for those of you that are more technically minded, who are doing the uploading and who are doing this work on the back end, it's important that you label your photos before you upload them to your site. And I want to give you an example here. What we're looking right now is the back end of a media file on WordPress. It's a platform that many companies use to build their websites. And when you don't label your photo properly, before you upload it to the site, what you come up with is this random string of letters and numbers like we had, and I showed you in that example on the left of the iguana, but you get this random string of letters and numbers. Even though you have the opportunity to label with an alt text and caption and things like that within the web host provider, it will not change that original file name. So you must do this before you upload it to your site, or else you'll lose all of that ability to show up in search engine. So again, this is what not to do, and this is my own site. Again, I want to make sure that you guys understand this is a sin that we all commit. And here's the difference between what happens when I label it before I upload it. This is a picture of my favorite style of elote, and I was writing about elote this past summer. I labeled the file elote corn summer before I uploaded it to the site. I added some more alternative text as well as a title to it once I had it online, but before I uploaded it, I had that title to it, and that's what shows up in search engine results. So again, it's really important that you do this before you load your photos onto your site. An easy fix, label your photos properly for SEO. SEO tip number 2, serve your community and build content that your audience wants to read. Sometimes we focus our content on just what we want to share and just what we want to get out about our business. And we don't think about the people that we're serving and how they're searching for content. And I want to give you an example of this. we're so interested in making sure that we share our hours, we share, the kinds of bed linens we're using, we share the kinds of tours that we have to offer. And we're not always focusing on the way that people are searching for us. The golden rule in SEO for writing good content is writing for people first and writing for search engines second. So I know this might seem a little bit counterintuitive. So how do you find out what people are looking for? I'll show you. You have 2 free tools, at least 2 free tools. There's a lot of tools out there, but you have 2 free tools at your disposal right now that can help you understand how audiences are searching for your business. These 2 listed below are the top 2 tools that I use all the time, not only for my own business, but for the businesses that I work with. The first is called AnswerThePublic.com. And AnswerThePublic.com allows you to do around 5 searches a day before it will prompt you to pay for more. So make sure that you plan ahead before you do this. But then you also have the opportunity to search with Google. And we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into Google. Google's a phenomenal free tool, and I'm going to show you how to exercise that so that you get the most out of it. So let's dig in first to AnswerThePublic.com when it comes to building content that your audience wants to read. If you see right here on the left-hand side, I've put in the search term Belize. And when I type in that search term, Answer the Public serves me up with all the ways that people have been searching for the term Belize online. The who, what, when, where, why. When I take a look at this, there are some gems in here. One of them is Belize part of Guatemala? No, it's not. It's pretty interesting to see what people are searching for. But there are a lot of gold nuggets in here, like Belize, what do I bring? Belize, what is the temperature? What is the best time to travel to Belize? How do you use this as a business? You create content that's titled, want to know what to bring to Belize when you come in the wintertime? Want to know what the temperature is? Those questions should be answered in the content that you are serving up. And when I say content, what's on your website, what's in your blog post, and what's in your social media posts. So if you use these search terms, you are really understanding the way that your audience is searching for businesses in Belize. And it's hugely important that you be of service to your audience and maximize what you are sharing centered around how people are searching. The second tool that I use all the time, and I really squeeze a lot of juice out of Google with this one, is using Google.com and related searches. It's really the #1 way that I find out the way that people are searching for the businesses that I work with. Google gets overlooked a lot because we assume that Google is a way that people use to search for us. And we don't necessarily use Google as a way to search for our customers and how our customers are looking for us. So I'm going to repeat that again. We assume that Google is a way that people are searching for us, but we can also use Google as a way to search for them. Giving you an example right here. If I show you right here that I've put in the terms about Belize jungle tours right up in my Google search bar. Underneath the paid advertisement, again, we're talking about how to show up in unpaid and organic ways. We have this company, this Belize tour company, that has showed up because they have incorporated those search terms into the content on their website. You have the opportunity to do the same thing to show up higher in rank. If you scroll down in your Google search to the very bottom of that first page, you're going to see this little box that pops up that says searches related to Belize jungle tours. Looking at those terms right now, this is the way that people are searching for Belize jungle tours: Belize Jungle Trek, Belize Jungle Resorts, Belize Cave Tubing, Belize Jungle Dome. That's the site that showed up first. Night jungle tours in Belize. If you are using those keywords in your content will get served up to the audience that is searching for you. And again, Google will serve you with the most used search terms for your company and for your business. So we're going to do a little bit of a live search right now. I'm going to share my screen with you. And we're going to go in here to accommodations in Belize and see who pops up. Now, again, we have a lot of ads that come up first. and then the Google pages, so people that have Google My Business. And here's the people also ask. But of course, where to stay in Belize. These companies are the ones that have showed up first in organic search. Okay, Cabrilla, 4-star accommodations, Belize travel blog, Chalk Creek. I want to give a special shout out to Chalk Creek because I did a little research. I don't know if anyone from Chalk Creek's online right now. I did a little research, and they've been doing this kind of marketing since the earliest piece of content that I could find was 2012. I thought it was pretty interesting. So again, this first page, it's really important. If you show up on this first page, you're really doing it right in terms of your content marketing. If you're looking at these search terms, accommodations in Belize, here are all of the companies that are showing up. And some of these are articles from our TripAdvisor. Cabrilla, which I'm not familiar with, but it sounds fabulous. But again, companies that are doing really well in incorporating those search terms directly into the content that they are developing just by using Google. So kudos to you guys. Okay. This is how I want it to be for you when you're developing your content. Your business will be married perfectly with your crafted content that matches what consumers are looking for. You want this kind of warm and fuzzy relationship. You want to make sure that you're gearing your content strategically towards the way that users are looking towards your business. So just remember this little romance here and think about creating your content that really matches up with the way that people are searching for you. Now, Angela from Beliezing.com has graciously put up this resource, and this is an important one that I wanted to share with you all. Google has just made a massive announcement when it comes to its algorithm and the way that it's able to search the content that we create. And she's actually put that PDF for you all if you want to download this and dig into it a little bit later. But the exciting part about this with Google, and I really like this, is that not only are they searching for the content of what we are creating, what we're writing for our businesses, but they're able to look for context. Now, what that means to you and I is that in our content, in our web pages, we are able to speak more naturally. In the past, we have had to just use keywords in order to show up in search engines. Now, we can use natural speaking sentences. They're able to see the entire context of what we're talking about, what this looks like. For example, in the past, you may have put snorkel tours, Caye Caulker. That is the keyword that you're trying to put into your content. Now, Google can also search for where are the best snorkel tours in Caye Caulker and where can I go to the Ho Chun Marine Reserve. If someone types in that whole sentence, they can serve up that entire context to that user that's searching for you. So for those of you who are on the tech side of things, who want to dig in a little bit deeper, please download this resource. It's on Inc.com. It's really exciting because it makes it a little bit easier for those of us who are in the digital space to develop content that has much more natural language and that feels much more conversational. It's a really exciting development in the world of SEO and content marketing. So tip number 3, build outbound and inbound links in your content. When I say outbound and inbound links, what I mean is this. Here's an example of a blog post that I recently wrote for my own website in regards to the food and culture of visiting Quebec up in Canada. And you'll see in that second paragraph down, links to third-party websites that are resources for my readers. So the Museum of Fine Arts, the Quai Festival, the Aquarium in Quebec. I made sure that in the body of that content, I have links to those third-party sites so that people can find out more information about what's happening in and around Quebec. The other example here in that third paragraph down, I linked to content that I had already created. So I put a link into an article I had done on Quebec's Carnival. And you'll see in that final paragraph another outbound link. This is really important because inbound and outbound links build authority. You want to link to other content on your site and reliable third-party sites. Google and other search engines like the fact that you are building those outbound and inbound links because it signifies that you are being useful and reliable and helpful to your audience. The other recommendation I make here is that I want you to make sure that you are working with your industry partners. Say if you are offering snorkel tours in Keycocker and you have a hotel that you are working with there and you want to give people a reliable place to stay, you might go to, say, the Keycocker Plaza Hotel and say to them, hey, we'd love to have you guys linked to our snorkel tours, and can you put this article and a link to our article on your website? Build that authority. It's no different than the way that we have our relationships with one another. People that have good networks where they share their resources with other people are more trustworthy and more reliable. And this is the same thing for SEO. When you build inbound and outbound links in your content, your site becomes more trustworthy and reliable to the search engine. So I want you to remember, a good SEO strategy takes time. This is like getting into an exercise regimen where you're going along and you're working out and you don't see any results, but all of a sudden by the third month, you're like hotter than the sun and amazing and like just fantastic and in good health. I have seen it take up to 3 months in some cases for businesses to really catch on when they implement these 3 tips. Sharing your content on social media is hugely important. Making sure that you are taking the content that you're developing for your website, sharing that on social media, and then getting your fans to help share that as well also builds your authority. Google and other search engines are able to track if fans are sharing your content, and then that leads back to the ability to make sure they're building that authority and building that trust. I talked earlier about that low-hanging fruit. I can tell you right now, if you implement these 3 tricks, so again, your photos, making sure that you're building content around what people are searching for, and within your content, you build inbound and outbound links, I can guarantee that you will begin to see massive changes in the way that you show up in organic and unpaid search results. And the third tip, and I really want to emphasize this, I am here as a resource to you. I've had the opportunity to work in Belize since 2012, and it is really an honor and a privilege to be able to be part of the digital community, but also to have friendships in Belize. I am really here as a resource for you, so I don't want you to hesitate when reaching out to me, either as a peer-to-peer or to call me for a consultation. We do have a link here where you can sign up for my email list. I'm here to help you in any possible way that I can. One of the things I want to offer up before we open up to questions today, we have actually already done the work in terms of some of those search terms and the way that people are searching for tourism and hospitality businesses in Belize. And Angela, thank you so much, has uploaded a link so that when you sign up for the email list, you will be delivered a PDF list of all of the different search terms and different key phrases that people are searching for when it comes to tourism and hospitality accommodations in Belize. So if you're interested in getting that and you want to sign up for the email list, please do so today. Thank you guys so much. It's been such an honor to work with you. And now we can open up with any questions you might have about SEO or the tips that I've offered here today.
All right. Thank you, Kristen, for that presentation. And I hope that everyone watching has learned some useful tips that they can use to improve their ranking and get found online. As Christian said, if you have any questions, feel free to enter it in the chat. But meanwhile, we wait for the questions. I'd like to make a note for our members that the next webinar session is in November with Alison Chaney to discuss how to properly blog for SEO. So this is another session talking about how to improve your content for SEO and how to get found online. So I believe, oh, Carlos sent a chat saying, thanks, it was very informative. The renaming of the pictures. Yes,
Yeah.
that is something that is very, very helpful. And I do notice with Belizeing.com as well, because we upload a lot of pictures. It is a marketplace, so a lot of the suppliers here in Belize are uploading their own pictures, and we have to label all of them. So when people are searching things like ATM Belize, our
Mhm.
pictures are found and they can be redirected to our website. So that is very, very helpful. And I do urge anyone that's watching right now to start check over their pictures that they have uploaded and rename them if they have to, and use Google or Answer the Public to find keywords that they could use for the names as well.
Absolutely.
That's right, Angela.
hmm
I
So
think we have,
Carla said, do
yes.
you recommend doing that for social media upload as well?
Oh, yes.
Um,
I highly recommend it. I think that a lot of, and also make sure that you're filling in your captions on social media, because those captions can show up in search as well. So making sure that your photos are labeled before you upload to social. And then once you get into social, make sure that you add captions. Captions are really important. And make sure that you're speaking naturally and you're looking to engage people in those captions. But again, a lot of times by default, especially on sites like Facebook, we'll upload photos and then we go back later and look at them and it'll say that phrase, add a description. We haven't, if we don't take the time to do that, then we're losing out on that opportunity to show up in search and engage with our audience. So yes, I think that's a really great question to make sure that you're uploading before you go for social as well.
Thanks, Kristen. I think we have another question, Angela, from Mr. Tejada.
Okay, he said, Kristen, can you recommend to our members companies in Canada that are very good in providing services on SEO for members?
Not yet. I'm actually based in the US, but I'd be happy to reach out to some colleagues and find out, and if that's okay. And I can send that information along to Angela as well, because I'm up in Canada quite a bit just for my own client work, but I'd be more than happy to find out some resources. If you want to let me know where in Canada you're based, that could be really helpful as well. And I'd be more than happy to do that research for you.
He also says
Okay,
in the
yeah.
US.
In the US as well. So I do. I have a recommend. So US based companies, and I'll show you this too. There's a really good site, and I don't know if you guys can see this here, but I'll send the link to Angela. This is called, it's called bloggerbff.com. And it's a woman that I have worked with who's actually worked with the Disney company in their SEO. She does full website audits for SEO. They are, the one thing that I really like about them is they're extremely thorough, and they're very affordable. And when I say very affordable, I mean they're economically affordable. I mean, she does a terrific job. Her name is Colleen Lashy. So if we can put that up, and I don't know if I can put that up in the link. Angela, can I post that link right here? It's called bloggerbff.com, and the owner is named Colleen Lashy. So
maybe you can type it here with the whiteboard.
Sure. Can you all see that?
Not as yet, Kristen.
Not as yet? Okay. Having some technical.
Can you tell me so I could type it?
Sure. It's bloggerbff.com.
BFF.com. Okay. Can anyone let me know if they see the whiteboard?
Not as yet, Angela. In the meantime, we have another question. Okay, it's showing up now, Angela.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes. We have another question from Katia. She's asking, what happens if you don't label your pictures right away when you're uploading? Meaning that you can change the label after uploading.
Right. So two things can happen. Sometimes when this is where when I said that it takes some time for SEO changes to come into effect. Obviously, Google and other search engines are going to crawl new content first, so that when we're creating new content, it's important to label those photos properly. But when companies go back and relabel old photos, it does take some time for your full site to be recrawled. And that's when those search engine results can change as a result of the work of going back and changing it. I hope that makes sense. So that's where we see that time lag. So you're not going to get that same fabulous, wonderful search engine juice that you want from new content with properly labeled photos right away. But it is worthwhile when your entire site does get recrawled. If you do have those photos relabeled and in place, you will see results, just not right away. So again, you can pick and choose, because I know that we all have to think about how much time do we want to devote to going back and fixing things, because this is a problem we've all had. So again, I would say pick and choose the content that's performing the best. Look and see what pages on your website are performing best and what blog articles are performing best, and change those first. And then maybe you can go back and do an audit of those other pages. So again, start with what's already performing and change those as your sort of phase one of your SEO changes.
Oh, very great, Kristen.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's useful as well. And I do also want to note that SEO is sort of a long-term game. So you might not see results like tomorrow. So you'd have to see or check back maybe in 2-3 months or a couple months time, just to see how you're doing.
Yes, Angela, I absolutely agree with that. It is worth the investment, but like compound interest, when we're putting away for our future, it does add up. And it's one of those things that if you get in the habit of these techniques now, the momentum will build. And I've seen that build. So I encourage you all just to go back and make those changes, and not to beat yourself up if you haven't done those things in the past. Many, many businesses are in that same boat, but you do have the power to make that change. So I'm excited to see what happens for the businesses in Belize.
And I believe we are as well. We got 2 more questions. We have one from Brenda. She's asking, what do you think about adding content on your homepage?
In terms of your homepage, yes. So think about what you would talk about in terms of your company as a whole, and add keyword terms right there in that homepage. Absolutely. I would say change that around. Don't get too verbose. When people are typically land on a homepage, they're looking quickly to other resources like your booking pages or looking at your photo galleries, things like that. But make sure that your content on that first page has terms that people are looking for. So say, for example, I don't know what Brenda, if Brenda's with a hotel or with a tour operator, but make sure that you have some of those terms, search those terms in Google or Answer the Public, and put them right in that content on that front page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. We got our last 2 questions before we wrap up. Randy is asking, is there such a thing as oversharing or oversaturation with social media posting?
Yeah. Yes. So social media posting, we talk about the fact that we want quality over quantity. Okay. So sometimes we think if we put out more quantity that somehow we'll get more attention. But again, I come back to the fact that it's better to have quality relationships with a handful of people than it is to have like terrible relationships with a whole lot of people. Making sure that you focus on content that wants to be shared, that people can engage with, that's useful and helpful. That's the kind of content that you want to focus on. I have a lot of businesses that have come down from posting 3 times a day to once a day, to some businesses once every other day. But they're really focusing on higher quality content. They're focusing on video content, which is much more engaging to their audiences. So again, if you want to come down in your social media posting, I would just focus on higher quality content. And that includes things like video content, Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives, making sure that you are posting things like polls and questions, things that people can engage with.
Okay.
That's very useful.
Sure.
All right. So I guess our last question is from Michael. He said, I label pictures after uploading to sites like VRBO or Airbnb. Should I delete those labels and then re-upload them? Do those labels help me at all?
So just like I showed you in the WordPress, and this feels painful to tell you this, Michael, but yes, you need to have them labeled prior to uploading them to a home sharing site. That home sharing site's label is just for its site itself and not necessarily for Google. Some of those things can show up in Google, but I would make it a practice now to make sure that you're labeling before you upload to any of those sites. So I know it sounds painful because I'm sure you've done a lot of work with getting all those photos up there. And again, coming back to the idea that if you have properties that are performing, look at the ones that are performing really well first, and then making those changes to boost that up. But again, just make it a practice from here on out, if that really helps, to make sure you're labeling before you go up to those sites, because it will make a difference.
Okay, great.
Okay, I guess that's it for questions. Thank you all for submitting your questions. It was a pleasure to answer them. And thank you, Kristen, for presenting today and joining us. We
Yes.
really, really appreciate the time and effort that you put for this presentation. I mean, from the chat, a lot of people are saying thank you. That it was a great presentation, and I find it useful as well. So thank you once again for joining us. Alicia, do you have any reminders for BHM members or non-members?
Before the reminders, I think we have one more question sneaking in from Christine.
Christine. Oh, okay. She's typing
Yes.
probably.
But in the meantime, I just want to thank you again, Christian. That was an amazing presentation. To our non-members of the Belize Hotel Association, if you would like to be a part of our monthly webinars, because this is only for members only, and feel free to reach out to me, reach out to our membership executive, Penny. We can share with you the list of benefits of becoming a member with the BHA. And for our next month's webinar, it will be on how to properly blog for SEO. This will be done by Allison Cheney, and that will be held on November the 27th.
And just as a quick plug for Allison, she's a colleague and a friend, and she's incredible. So for those of you who want to have access to her webinar, I highly recommend it. She's wonderful. She breaks things down in very palatable terms, and she can also speak to very high level things. So even if you're very advanced in your marketing skills, or if you're brand new to it, I think you really will get something out of Allison's talk. So I've loved working with her in the past. So I highly recommend signing up for that one.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, so I see Christine has submitted her question. She says, I'm a travel agent and my host agency manages my website. How can I increase my web presence?
That's a great question. So I would have a conversation with your host agency with these 3 tips and techniques. Take them to them and say, I've learned about this. I would like to be able to make sure that our site is performing as best as possible. They clearly have somebody that's doing it for them. And I would take the tips to them and make those recommendations. The other thing is, if you have any input in terms of how your bio is written on that site, rewrite your bio. Also, use these tips and techniques for your social media. It really helps, especially if you're using Facebook. Facebook shows up a lot in search engine results, so make sure that you're using these techniques in your social media shares. But again, don't hesitate to have that conversation with whomever is the webmaster at that travel company and ask them, because they would probably love to have your input on that and to really make sure that they're doing their own audit of the site. But for right now, I think the first entry point would be to update your bio, and if you have any input on the verbiage that you get to share on your social media pages, that's where you really have some control right now. So good luck.
All right. Thank you for that question, and thank you for answering, Kristen. So I guess that will be the end of this webinar. Thank you all for joining us. It was a pleasure to host all of you. And I do look forward to see all of you guys again in next month's webinar. It is again with Allison Cheney on November the 27th. If you are a non-member, please feel free to click this offer. It will redirect you to the BHA's website for you to become a member. And for those who are already members, I believe Alicia or Miss Penny will be sending you the login link for that webinar. All
Yeah.
right. And then also for blog submissions, this month's theme was Birding in Belize. And I believe next month's theme is Garifuna Settlement Day. So if you do have your blogs, feel free to send them to Miss Penny or Miss Alicia so we can have them published. And again, that would help with SEO. So that's the plus of it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email Kristen if you have any for her. If you have any for Alicia, please feel free to email her as well. And then you could also email Believing if you have any questions for us. I guess until next time, we will say goodbye.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Kristen. Bye bye.